Much Ado About Nothing is a comedy by Shakespeare about romance and deceit. While of course nothing can compare to the play itself, hopefully the summary can do it some justice. The whole play takes place in Messina, Italy. In this town lives Leonato, a wealthy nobleman. His daughter Hero, brother Antonio, and Antonio's daughter Beatrice all live with Leonato. He is welcoming friends back from war. Don Pedro is Leonato's closest friend, and Don John is Don Pedro's illegitimate brother. Claudio and Benedict are both young soldiers who are friends with Don Pedro. Beatrice and Benedict become sarcastic friends, but Claudio falls in love with Hero. Don John becomes jealous of Claudio and Hero and tries to foil their relationship. Act 2 begins at a masked ball that night. Don Pedro is courting Hero for Claudio, and eventually Claudio and Hero agree to marry. This declaration has two results. Don John comes up with a plan to ruin the marriage by making Hero seem unfit. Meanwhile, Claudio's friends decide they'll pass the time before the marriage by trying to set up Benedict and Beatrice to fall in love. In the estate garden, Don Pedro, Leonato, and Claudio make up a story and loudly talk about how Beatrice has fallen in love with Benedict, who is conveniently eavesdropping in some nearby bushes. In Act 3, Hero and her servant Ursula do the same thing as Claudio and his friends did. Beatrice conveniently overhears Hero and Ursula talking about how Benedict has fallen in love with Beatrice, and she decides Benedict would actually be a suitable husband. Somewhere else, Don John approaches Claudio and Don Pedro, exclaiming that he has proof Hero is unfaithful and would make for a bad wife. Reluctantly, the two agree to see Don John's proof. That night, Don John leads them to view Hero's room, where Don John's friend Baraccio is making love to a woman dressed in Hero's clothes. Believing the woman to actually be Hero, Claudio is heartbroken and vows to shame Hero during the wedding. Baraccio, however, is arrested with his friend Conrad after the two unknowingly reveal the plan to some nearby town guards. In Act 4, the wedding proceeds as planned until Claudio rejects Hero in an outrage, claiming she's unfaithful. Don Pedro backs him up, and Hero faints while the ceremony turns into chaos. The friar hatches a plan to declare Hero dead in order for the treachery to reveal itself, and Leonato agrees to the plan. Meanwhile, Baraccio confesses the treason and admits the plan to the guards. Baraccio repeats his confession to Claudio and Don Pedro in Act 5, and the two men beg Leonato for forgiveness. Leonato agrees to forgive Claudio if he 1. Publicly retracts his accusation and writes an epitaph for the dead Hero, and 2. Marries his other niece in order to balance Hero's cancelled marriage. Claudio agrees to the terms and publicly weeps for Hero at her tomb. He vows to visit her every year, and then proceeds to prepare for his new wedding. During the wedding, it's revealed that Leonato's masked niece is actually Hero herself, and Claudio and Hero finally become married. Benedict and Beatrice also decide to get married that day. The play comes to a close as we find out that Don John has been arrested, and everyone dances in celebration of the day's events.